The views and opinions on this show are for entertainment purposes only. The only factual information is any story that has happened to AT2 or the parties involved. Other than that, go ahead and get you a drink, get you something to eat, just relax and enjoy the show. Let's have fun. All right, y'all, let's get real. What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Talk the Real Deal with AT2. And yes, I'm your boy AT2. How everybody doing? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? Hopefully everybody doing good. Hello. What's up, everybody? Make sure y'all hit that like button as you come in the room. What's up, Nelly? What's up, Tiffany? What's up, Stephanie? What's up, Denitra? What's up, Miss ATL and Stan? What's up, New York Chicken Wing? What's up, everybody? I know I had to change the time of the show. I thought I had already set it at 7:30, but then something, I don't know what happened. So I apologize if you guys were here earlier. It was all like, where's AT2 at? What's up, Benita? What's up, Deborah C? Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into this whole Michael Oher situation. It's getting really interesting. And what I mean by interesting, somebody lying. You know, either Michael lying or the family lying, but somebody is lying. Now, I'm still rocking with Michael until it's proven different. But for right now, you know, the Tuohy family is fighting back. They are saying that Michael, and let me pull up Michael's picture right here. Hold on. Because you know we like pulling up pictures. Oh, dang, where'd Michael go? Hold on. Where Michael and his Two-Face family at? Oh, I guess I don't even have the picture up here no more, you guys. Oh, never mind. Okay, but anyway, Michael and his Two-Face family, right? His adoptive family who didn't adopt him. They are claiming that, you know, whatever happened, they had to do it, you know, this way with the whole conservatorship and everything like that. But my understanding with a conservatorship is if somebody is, you know, someone who can't take care of themselves. As far as I understand, Michael had been taking care of himself in the foster system all the way until he got with that family. So I'm pretty sure he's inept to deal with his own business matters, but that's here nor there. The family is saying, you know, they can go ahead and end the conservatorship if he wants to, blah, blah, blah. Y'all should have been did that. Now, what they're claiming is that Michael already knew about the conservatorship and that if he wants it to end, they'll go ahead and end it. But they're saying that he wants money. I guess allegedly a few years ago, he wanted to shake them down for $15 million. Like, hey, I won't say anything about what you guys did if you give me $15 million. Now, I don't know if Michael shook him down for the money, but, you know, my thing is like, yo, I don't know how much I made using my likeness and using my name, but shit, I want that money, and rightfully so, you know? They sold a story based on Michael. They would not have a story. Everybody likes to say Michael wouldn't be anything without that family. However, they wouldn't be anything without him. They wouldn't be known. Again, yeah, were they rich? Did they already have money? Yes, of course they did. They already have money and stuff like that. But like I said, what rich people love, they love money. So it doesn't matter how much money a rich person have. If they can make more money, they're going to make that money. Because you have to think about it this way. All those charities and those speaking engagements, they get that because of Michael in the story, The Blind Side, you know? They get that because of the whole situation. So if it wasn't for Michael, they wouldn't be anything either. So it goes two ways. You know, would they have this kind of fame? You know, would they be philanthropists? We don't know. And who's to say Michael couldn't get into the NFL without them? Mind you, that's the school that they went to. So there's a scene in, and I'm probably gonna get flagged for this, but I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and then I'll just take it out the show. But there's a scene in the movie where somebody, I don't know who the lady is because remember I never seen the movie, but there's a clip floating around on Twitter in the movie where the girls are like, yeah, you know, these you're probably gonna start this new trend of bookies wanting to adopt these athletes and then have them go to their alma maters and stuff like that. And so that clip was very interesting to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Hopefully this is fair use and I don't get flagged. But if you see why, if the video gets shut down, you see why. Here we go, y'all.
The NCAA fears that with your recruitment, a door might be opened. That boosters from lots of schools in the South will become legal guardians of young athletes without means and funnel them to their alma maters. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying I don't. But there are many people involved in this case who would argue that the Tuohys, they took you in. They clothed you. No. They fed you. They paid for your private education. They bought you a car and paid for a tutor. All as part of a plan to ensure that you play football for the University of Mississippi.
Now look at the end when he was like, they wanted to ensure that he played for Mississippi. Now, do we know for a fact that somebody might have gotten the parents here was like, hey, we want that boy to play for Mississippi? You know, I don't know, but I mean, it begs the question because I still don't understand the reason why you had to adopt him in order to get him into that school. Also, they said the other reason why they did the conservatorship is because they needed to get him a license and health insurance. Unless he was underneath your health insurance, I don't see, I don't know. A driver's license? I don't think you need a conservatorship for a driver's license. Call me crazy, but you don't need one for a driver's license. I know I got my license without being in a conservatorship. He was 18, so he could just go down and get a permit or, you know, just take the test. It's when you 16, you know, you have to do that whole get a signature from your parents, have them sign off on your permit and stuff like that. But when you're 18, you don't have to do any of that. You could just take the test and, you know, go about your business. You don't need no parent permission. So again, you didn't do the quote unquote adoption, aka the conservatorship, until he was 18. So that doesn't make any sense either. So it's trying to find the reason why they felt like they needed to do this conservatorship, which we all trying to figure that out because it's not making any sense. We put in two and two together and we get 8, not 4. You know, it is not making any sense. Also, they're claiming that Michael knew that, like I said earlier, he knew that he was in the conservatorship. This is what exactly he said in his 2011 memoir. I went ahead and did a voiceover as I didn't want to steal the clip. So here we go, you guys. Since I was already over the age of 18 and considered an adult by the state of Tennessee, Sean and Leanne would be named my legal conservators. They explained to me that it means pretty much the exact thing as adoptive parents, but that the laws were just written in a way that took my age into account. Honestly, I didn't care what it was called. I was just happy that no one could argue we weren't legally what we already knew was real. We were family. So some people are saying like, oh, well, he knew, he agreed with it, he was fine. Now, if someone's telling you like, hey, we want to adopt you, but we're going to adopt you in a different way. We're going to, you know, it's called something else, but it means the same thing. He was under that impression that it literally meant the same thing. No, a conservatorship and being adopted is 2 different things, you know, why did I put up 4? 2 different things. So he's like, oh yeah, this family loves me. They went ahead and adopted me. They wanted me to do Nah. Nah, that's not what it was at all. What's up, Winnie? What's up, Heart of Inspiration? She said there were NCAA rules that prohibited them from declaring for the college they were boosters at. Yeah. So, you know, so here's my question. So even if they did a conservatorship, right? that doesn't make any. What was the difference between them doing a conservatorship and them actually adopted? As we found out yesterday, you can adopt someone up to the age of 21. And then I looked up the rules in Tennessee just to make sure. In Tennessee, you can adopt an 18-year-old. You can. There's no rule against it. Now, maybe they're all like, "Oh, this was the faster way of doing it." But still, you're the conservator, but that doesn't mean you're somebody's parent. That's two different things. You know what I mean? Being somebody's conservator versus being their parent. Hell, that's kind of like, I always talk about, black people are people, right? When I say, "Oh, that's my play mama or my play cousin," that's basically what they were. That was his play parents. That was that was his play parents. That wasn't his real parents. Those are his play parents. And from what I got from the memoir, he was really hurt. He was all like, "Yeah." Well, not hurt, but he was saying like, "Yo, I don't care what you call us. We're already family. This is, this basically," he's saying, "this piece of paper doesn't mean anything. But since we went ahead and got this paper done, this means that you guys are legally my parents. We're legally family." Because here's my thing as well, too. Let me spin it back on y'all. Is he in the will? Is he listed in the life insurance? Does he have some kind of stake in their company? The company that the daddy sold for $250 million. Does he have some kind of stake in the company? Like, what is his, did Michael have anything? I know with my family, what's up, Couture Bay? I know with my family, I have, well, actually, I don't know if I'm, I'll check back with you. But I know that if something were to happen, I think I am a part of something, and I'll be, I'll get something. I don't know what I'm going to get, but I think I'll get something, But, did Michael have anything set up for him? I'm pretty sure their two biological kids have something in stake. But does Michael have something in stake? Does he have something? I'm just trying to find out, because to me, I don't think he has anything. How much you can like somebody, but necessarily that doesn't mean that you, damn, I don't want to have this conversation, but I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it. F you. I'm gonna have it. Screw your feelings. So sometimes, and I discovered this a while ago. What's up, Cammy? I discovered this a while ago. So sometimes, and this is not all, but some, especially the ones that I had to cuss out on Facebook, I had the hard time with this in 2020. Knowing that, I thought these certain white people were my friends and that they actually liked me. Or let me put it this way, that they like black people. I was like, "Oh, no, they're not those kind of, they're not racist. They're not those kind of white people. Like, they actually like black people. I can go to bat for them." But then I realized something. They didn't necessarily like black people. They liked me. I'm going to repeat that one more time. They didn't like black people. They just liked me. It is definitely two different things. Two different things. And so I believe with this family, they probably liked Michael, but necessarily they didn't like black people. And I couldn't see them being like, "Oh yeah, we're all in." You know what I mean? Like, we love you. We want you to be a part of the family, as far as like, let's set you up with, some of our retirement, like, does he, if those two people pass away, talking about Leanne and Sean, if they passed away, does Michael and his family get anything? And Michael could possibly be all like, "I don't want nothing, from them, blah, blah, blah." But anybody, and shout out to everybody who has kids, you're leaving something for your kids, right? to me, I don't think that they thought Michael, because mind you, they only knew him for a year. They're claiming that they knew him ever since he was 16, but he didn't move in until his senior year. So you probably knew of him because he was an athlete, he was an all-American athlete. That's why you knew him. Just like I said, I don't think they would have took in Deshaun and Jaquan. I don't think they would have took in a Deshaun and a Daquan. But they took in a Michael because Michael was going to be something. But I don't think they just would have, they didn't have any, they never adopted or fostered any other kids. Michael was the only one. He was the exception to the rule, He was the exception to the rule. But I don't think like they're going to get, they would have taken in Daquan or Deshaun and was all like, oh, yeah, we're going to help you. No. Michael was an exception. I'm just being honest. He was the exception. So did they care enough for him where they set him up where he was actually a part of the company, and does he have any stake in the business, or how much did you care about him? Or did you also like, oh, well, he went to the NFL. He doesn't need it like the other kids, Addicted to shoes, shoe crime. As I understand, that's after Michael. That wasn't before Michael. They had never fostered anybody before Michael. It was after Michael, and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they changed their mind after. They were like, oh, we'll take in a few more Negro children. But I don't know. But before Michael, they didn't have any. Yeah. But after Michael, they had some kids. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's basically what it was. My sorority son and I was discussing that you can't buy an athlete a piece of gum. You are right, Stephanie. Yeah, you can't. It's the whole bribe thing. Remember, Stephanie said last time, she used to be a bookie and all that. So she knows about all that stuff. Now, Sandra Bullock should not lose her Oscar. I know people was going off on Twitter. Listen, she just lost the love of her life. Leave that lady alone. And I don't think she should lose her Oscar. But, do I think that she probably should release a statement and be like, oh, I'm sorry, Michael, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just something just to appease the people. But that lady was acting. Listen, Sandra Bullock was probably under the same impression as we were that they adopted him. The whole story was them adopting this black boy. That's what it was about. The whole story. They did not say we put him in a conservatorship. Now, if they would have said we put him in a conservatorship, people would have been like, I don't think we're going to make a movie about this. That don't seem right, But they said, oh, yeah, we adopted him. Because that sounds sexier, right? That you could sell a story about adopting somebody. I don't think you could sell a story about putting somebody in a conservatorship. I think that's two different things. Oh, right. Right. That's a good question. Yes, it may be more coins coming in. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, You said you was a book yesterday. Oh, thank you for the $50, definitely. But you said you was a bookie. What you said? You said you was a I thought you said you was a bookie, or you were like stopping the bookies from taking advantage, and like what? Tell us what you said you was. Yes. See how I got it all wrong? Well, you think she should do a statement like Jennifer Aniston? Nope, just don't say anything, as it will go away. That is true, Miss ATL, and that is because we forget about shit. So yeah, it should go away. It will eventually. Like, we talking about it now. That shit gonna go away. And they never explained the conservatorship. Exactly. And that's the thing. Michael didn't know. He really didn't. He said, oh, yeah, they said they were going to be my conservators. And they said it's like an adoption. It's just different because I'm an adult. Let me play it one more time before we move on to Mr. Cheater Pumpkin Eater. Since I was already over the age of 18 and considered an adult by the state of Tennessee, Sean and Leanne would be named my legal conservators. They explained to me that it means pretty much the exact thing as adoptive parents, but that the laws were just written in a way that took my age into account. Honestly, I didn't care what it was called. I was just happy that no one could argue we weren't legally what we already knew was real. We were family. So yeah. So technically, yes, and thank you, Stephanie. She said she was the head bookie. Um, so he did admit, like, yeah, they said it was a conservatorship, but like I said, a lot of us did not know. Remember, I asked you guys the other day, like, how many of us had heard of a conservatorship? Now, I know there was a couple of people like Miss Behaven, shout out to her. She said, I knew because I'm a nurse and, you know, that kind of thing happened. But how many of you guys knew what a conservatorship before Britney Spears? Oh wait, hold, put my hand down. I didn't know what it was, right? A lot of us didn't know what it like. I didn't even think you could do that to a adult. First of all, have control over them. You know. Um, hold on. Have you read the filing? You need to read it. Black Britney Spears. Don't say like the Black Britney Spears. No, you know what? I because I actually wanted to pull it up and do like a long form video and go like line by line about it. But this, I just kind of wanted to update on what was going on in the case because, you know, I still wanted to play the video from, you know, Derrick Jaxn and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to go line by line. But damn, the Black Britney Spears, it's like that. But yeah, they have what's up, Patrice? Over his contract, you know, business contract, like they have control of everything. You know, they control all of it. Thank you, Hard Inspiration. They control all of that. And also, just like me and Stephanie were talking yesterday, that's probably how they were able to sign off on his likeness and stuff like that, because this is a part of the petition to end the conservatorship. And he wants to look into all the accounting and see, you know, how much money they made off of his name and his likeness. Because definitely the NCAA, he probably couldn't have signed off on that movie if even if he wasn't getting a profit or anything like that. He probably wouldn't have been able to sign off on something like that. So it's a very good question. You know, it's a lot to it. I feel like more and more is going to come out, and we're going to get down to the truth. But I definitely don't hold Michael accountable for not knowing he was in a conservatorship. Mind you, now I kind of look at my parents a little different, but if I was 18 and my parents told me, hey, sign off on this, how many times have your parents told you to sign off on something and you didn't know what you were signing, right? You didn't know what you were signing off on, but you signed it. You know, especially when I started working at the age of like 16 and I had to do like taxes and stuff like that. I didn't know what I was actually doing. They'd be like, hey, we did it for you. Just sign off on it. I signed off on it. So if you trust your parents and you're thinking that these people love you, you're just going to sign off on it. I don't hold Michael accountable for just signing off on that conservatorship thing, you know? Honestly, he didn't know what it was. And I think that they phrased it like, oh, yeah, we have to do this because you're over the age of 18. Before we move into Derrick Jaxn, let me ask you guys real quick. Do you guys blame Michael for signing the conservatorship? 30-second poll. Yeah, you know, whew, that's wild. You know, and it's crazy too, thinking about it, because they're a conservator for someone who is not their son. Like with Britney Spears, at least it was her dad. I mean, her dad wasn't shit, but at least it was her dad. But these are like people that are not related or no blood, no kin to him, and they were able to be his conservator. I'm thinking, yeah, someone had mentioned that they have influence politically. And you know, if you got money and you have influence politically, you can get away with shit. We already know. Let's go ahead and move on to Derrick Jaxn, y'all. All right. So Mr. Derrick Jaxn, he did another interview. This time he was on Dear Future Wifey podcast, right? The interview, it was not hidden. It wasn't hidden at all. Like I thought Latrice, since he had Danae on his channel, which that was a bomb ass interview, the one with Danae. I thought he would ask like the hard hitting questions, but it was more so. Remember, this is part one. Part two is tomorrow morning, but part one, it just seemed like he was trying to get into like his psychological and like about his childhood and stuff like that. But I think because we already heard from the Willie Moore interview, we didn't really care about his childhood. We just wanted to get down to why he's a cheater. Why was he out there disrespecting his wife? We honestly didn't care about it. I hate to put it that way, y'all, but we did we really care about his childhood? No, we didn't. Let me go ahead and pull it up here real quick, you guys. One moment. Oh no, what's going on? Okay, here we go. Let's hope it works.
I'll run both of them consecutively one day after the next. So without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My new homie, Derrick Jaxn.
What's going on, brother?
Derrick, listen, man, people been saying, when are you going to come on the podcast?
When I'm going to come on any podcast up until recently.
So what made you decide to go do it?
I'm not really big on coming and doing interviews and talking about myself, but this one is a little bit different because it involves, things that kind of hit closer to home. So I felt like I could contribute something to the conversation. If it's going to be had, I think it's best if it's had with both sides of a story, and one day whenever my children do see mommy and daddy talking about this, I want them to see where we both stand and hopefully how we both resolve things.
Mind you, originally he said that he didn't want to do an interview. Remember on the Willie Moore show, he said he didn't want to do the interview. Like he thought they should have did it together, blah, blah, blah. But now he wants to do the interview with them. Oh, all right, whatever. Let's skip ahead a little bit, y'all. Because a lot of it is bullshit, so we're going to skip ahead.
Honestly, man, since then, I already knew, like, okay, people online, they're going to have their thoughts or what have you, and you can't see yourself through that lens. So I really haven't internalized that so much.
A lot of times people, I saw my brother, Willie Moore Jr., he posted a snippet of you about the interview that you were doing with him. That's when this dropped, that would have dropped 3 days ago. And I read the comments. It was like, why are you giving this brother a platform? Why would you do this? And all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And first, when I read it, I was like, now if I do this interview with them, are they going to feel the same way? I was like, no, like you said, it's a more balanced approach. I had Danae on here. It's only fair to have you on here as well.
No, we do feel the same way.
Even in 2020, you checked your DMs. I reached out to you before all this stuff started imploding.
One of the few.
Yeah. And I reached out to you because I always want to have conversations with Black men because in the, from your platform standpoint, the stuff that you were telling and helping Black women with was facts. It was no lies told.
Yeah.
What a lot of men took gripe about is that they like, oh, not only are you telling the secrets or whatever, but they kind of felt like you were pandering to Black women for your benefit. What would you say about that?
Well, we kind of have this broke.
So basically, he wasn't living what he was preaching. Mind you, this man, his first book was writing a book about cheating and why it was, and about how not to cheat and stuff like that. But mind you, he was a cheater. Like, that was the crazy part.
Code, and it's got us in the chokehold. And the bro code is all about having a man's side no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter if we wrong or what have you. And I think personally it's created a generation of coddled men that can't take correction from anybody, no matter how soft it is or balanced it is. So when I'm saying all of this, of course, there's different layers to it. Some of them think, oh, it's because he wants vagina, because he wants money or what have you. But man, I was raised by a single mother around two sisters. Naturally, I lean towards the woman's point of view on things. Anything else would be disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if you take from that, just say, your interview with Danae, you You were speaking in a way that was protective as her brother, you know, empathetic. You was calling wrong. That wasn't you pandering.
Right.
You know, you like per the situation that you speaking on, this is the truth.
Right.
But whenever you telling the truth that makes people uncomfortable or a truth that's not popular, they're going to look for a way to attack you either way it go.
I can respect that. I asked you, I said, Derrick, if you were given the opportunity to name this episode, what would you name?
All right, he said he was taking accountability, but he didn't take no accountability. Let me skip.
Get involved in it. So my question to you is, how did that shape, when you look back, hindsight being 2020, how did that shape your viewpoint on women?
Well, what my therapist taught me was that it actually just created a toxic relationship with sex, period. It became kind of an escape, you know, something to immediately distract me, make me feel less rejected if I ever felt that. So, you know, starting there, of course, it rewires your brain. It desensitizes you and stuff like that. It also miseducates you on what real intimacy is. So it took me well into my adulthood, actually until, you know, I was married, to understand that it's not about performance-based, you know, whenever you're having sex with a woman, it's connection-based. So I went, you know, even having sex in the earliest years, it was about, you know, the theater.
So basically what he's saying, and I think I skipped it too far ahead. So he talks about how Danae, when they would have sex, he was very aggressive. And like, you know, he liked to choke, pick her up and shit like that. But she didn't like that. Now, as we know from the interview with Danae, she talked about how she was taken advantage of. Y'all know I can't say the R word, but taken advantage of. And, you know, he was like, oh, I didn't know that at the time until afterwards. And so he's blaming his corn addiction as the reason why he was aggressive. And, oh, yeah, I felt like sex needed to be performative. I didn't know how to make love. And I'm just so like, everybody know when you watch one of those, one of those adult films, we know that they're acting as well, too, right? So, yeah, you know, you don't have a whole bunch of lights and shit like that, a cameraman. Like, come on now. So, Danae, rightfully so, did not like none of that. You know, it made her uncomfortable. But instead of working it out with her, what he would then go do is go cheat on her. You can't make this up, y'all. So that was his reasoning for being a cheater.
Theatrics of what I could perform and so on and so forth, man. But especially if there's serious feelings involved, you may leave a woman feeling like a piece of meat when she can tell you wasn't even there with her.
Right.
So not only that, in the times where I wasn't having sex, again, that was my easy out. Like, okay, I know I got porn, you know, I got this, that, and the other. And I wasn't on there like 4 hours a day or nothing like that. But I developed some nasty habits of when I'm really, really stressed or hurt or grieving or whatever.
Yeah.
I can do this and then go to sleep, or I can do this to get my mind. I can break the pattern by doing this. So that was pretty much it, man.
You're in college. You go to college. How did you meet Danae?
Math class. She walked in. Then she had on a black colored button up with black slacks, pretty face, slanted eyes, nice curves. So honestly, it was all physical when I first looked at her. And then I saw her notebook and I saw that she was into music. And I was like, oh.
So, you know, I was kind of surprised by this part because from what I'm understanding, he actually says that he liked her. Remember, we're under the impression that he never actually liked her. You know, it was just more for convenience, especially in the interview with Willie Moore. It seemed like it was just for convenience. It didn't seem like he actually loved that woman, or in this case, attracted to her. But he said he was attracted to her. So.
I thought you were like a bottle girl or something like that. You know what I'm saying? No, I was like, I saw the saxophone and stuff like that. So I asked about it. And she had a really soft voice, somewhat of an innocence about her. And we got to talking. I got a number. She didn't immediately answer later on whenever I called. I think I called 3 times. So if she don't answer this time, she answered on the last ring. And from there, man, we talked through the night. We did all of the stuff that we think about in high school and college, like on the phone overnight. We were inseparable, man, for like that first 2 months. Just again, people looked at me a certain way, and I was misunderstood. But with her, even being goofy and bubbly, like my personality is naturally I'm usually the jokester.
Okay.
So between that, I'm horrible at grieving.
Yo, it's so crazy hard inspiration because it makes me want to do a side by side between his interview and then her interview because there's a lot of disparities in there, you know?
I don't do well with that. And I learned later on in therapy it's because of how I internalized my father's loss. I had so much meaning I put to it as far as like what that means for me. Like, I'm not worth calling. I'm not worth checking on.
Never
I'm
know.
not worth doing the right thing so you don't have to be taken from me.
Yeah.
And then my mama, she had a thing that she would do from I'd say up to about age 7, where she would tuck me in and say, "Good night, Mr. B," because Bud was my nickname. And then mama got a boyfriend one time and she stopped. And for me, I mean, it was dramatic, I guess, but I said, "Oh, she don't love me like that anymore." Right. So now I grow up and I'm really guarded. I'm really good at just going inward when I have something wrong with me, et cetera, and not letting people get too close. Even girls like, "Oh, I can smash," or "We could do whatever, we could talk, but I'm never going to give you my heart."
Yeah.
But with Danae, none of them guards stayed up. So I was scared because I know like I'm feeling something I've never felt before. And I don't want to mess this up. I know she's too.
You know, I think a conversation, well, his dad passed away, but I think a conversation with his mom would probably help a lot of this because everything goes back to his mom not showing him affection, not showing him love. And he's trying to use this as his reasoning, but this just, it's not making sense at all. It's not.
Good for me. So like, God, help me become somebody I'm not, because I don't know what I'm doing here.
So during that time, you wasn't the type to be monogamous, was you? You just said
I didn't have no relationship to be monogamous in. I was doing my thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and so this one, you just said, why'd you want to give it all up for her?
I felt something with her I never felt before, but it was emotionally based. Looking back at it now, it's like, man, I was so unprepared. And for something like that, you don't know how important that role is, you gonna play in somebody's life where you're gonna give them your heart and they're gonna give you theirs.
Yeah.
You hand somebody the keys to your sanity, your physical health, and so many other things. But we were taught later, you know, if you love somebody, you just go be there.
Yep.
And you trial and error.
Yep.
And there's a high price to pay for trial and error, as we both learn.
All right, let's
So
skip
as y'all
ahead
were-
a little bit from the bullshit.
Or bite on the bait of another girl trying to flirt with me or something like that. I would have this, and it's again pattern. I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. Now I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. So in this point, I was faithful.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, no more girls. I felt terrible. That ain't it. You know, we done made up or something. Like, somehow we get to talking and we back in love again. So this honesty box message is coming in. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Now I got a girl. And then I'm hearing ding in the other room. I'm at, we got a apartment here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I sent another message, thing, went into the room, her inboxes, and I'm like, oh. So we fell out. She suspected me of cheating at that point, but she wasn't right about that.
Yeah.
And then from there, man, it was kind of all downhill because we got into a really bad argument and, you know, all this other stuff.
Well, she's
So, you know, a lot of the times what he was doing was basically saying that, oh, well, I had my women, but she also had men on the side and stuff like that. And so he basically alludes in this interview that she was cheating. He talks about one day he was in the shower and he showered with her. Then he got out the shower and seen her phone and seen messages from the dude. Remember, she had said like she was pretending to be in a relationship with another man or whatever. Well, he's saying that she was with that other man, that it wasn't no pretend. He's seen things and shit. So he trying to say they was both, you know, cheating. That's what he was trying to say.
said that in the times where she would catch you back in college, she would never tell you anyway. She would go in the closet and cry, and then you'll come be like, hey, everything cool? And she'll be like, yeah,
Here we
everything
go.
fine.
Well, that was
She'll say, it's my dad. I'm grieving the loss of my dad.
Yeah, that was the communication style, period. Without cheating, I may say something that offended her. I learned later on in therapy with her that sometimes my facial expressions while I'm listening would trigger her because I think her dad or something like had that going on. So a million things could be wrong with her, but then it again this dynamic of I'm begging for her to tell me what's wrong, and she don't. And I could take rejection maybe 1 or 2 days, but after 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months, now I'm starting to check out and detach without actually leaving. So it wasn't just the cheating that she wasn't talking about. She literally, if she had an issue, she held it in until she blew up.
She said that. She said she held something in like 10 years and then blew
a
up
lot of stuff, man. It wasn't just that. It was a constant thing of, communication is key, but you're not.
A lot of time during this interview, he mentioned that, the communication was poor, which obviously it was, but also she would be angry and blow up at him and then didn't want to talk to him. And then he would basically be spending his time trying to, conversate with her, and she would just basically ignore him. So this whole time, he's gaslighting y'all. He gaslighting you, right?
Communicating. And so I'm over here begging, trying. Because sometimes I'll be doing stuff and I wouldn't know it was bothering her. So for instance, I was kind of a flirt. So I would say, hey, beautiful or whatever to a girl, think nothing of it. But then she would hear that and be like, you call me beautiful. So understandably, she's offended. She's upset. Like, you tripping. Like, don't play with me like that. But
she probably
she
thought you were sleeping with the girl.
But she wasn't vocal, but she was expressive. Because it ain't like she just didn't talk. She showed that she was upset, but it was with, again, rejection, hostility, name calling, walking off middle of conversation.
Okay, let's skip ahead a little bit.
Box of chocolates, man.
She said she threw hands. And so now y'all moved to y'all's respective cities. What city was that? Was this when you moved to Atlanta?
I was in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. No, we went to North Carolina first.
Okay.
Well, and then she was in South Carolina.
And y'all were both single during that
Very
stage?
single.
You doing your own thing, she doing her own thing?
Her own thing.
But then y'all would just smash every now and then? Every
now and then. But then I would say this lasts about a year and a half. So if she needed me, I came and, like, say, for instance, one time, I worked a 9 to 5 at the time. I was at work, but she had felt really ill and she didn't have no family down there or nothing like that. And I came back, I flew back and I just drove. It was like a 5-hour drive. I drove down there and I stayed with her that weekend. So anytime she needed me, she had no furniture, I would help. If she needed to do this, I would help. That was kind of how we, how we did things. But we were still sexually engaged whenever I did come.
Would that be defined in today's standards as a situationship?
That's fair to say.
Or just somebody I'm just smashing? Because a situationship is more so as...
So this conversation kind of leads up to, when they was going back and forth and they was living 2 different lives, but they was still smashing on the weekends and stuff like that. It kind of lead up to like him basically all like, oh, I got to marry her now. I got her knocked up. I got to marry her. That's what it's basically leading up to, you guys.
And it's understood that we're exclusive with each other, but we don't have the title. This sounds like more of, I understand you got other people you messing with and vice versa, but we'll hook up.
I would say after probably the first year when we kind of really started up with, I'm coming in.
A little bit.
Everything was written up until 2014, 2015. I was a romance novelist. The first couple of books were Cheating Man's Heart 1 and 2, inspired by, I'm sure it's a huge surprise. And then from there, I wrote poetry because, again, I'm just staying true. Some people were trying to push me into expert land. I'm like, y'all don't know. I just effed up everything. I ain't the one. But then when I got down to Atlanta, this is 2015-ish. Me and her just broke up all over again. People have been stealing a lot of my content. And I was like, enough of that. So I started making videos, Snapchat videos.
He's talking about how he started his career.
Stuff. So that's how that happened. It was on my cell phone. I ain't have none of these beautiful lights and cameras or nothing like that. But I was able to impact a lot of lives, even just with I think it was an Android at that.
You got something against Android?
I'm just saying, everybody be shading.
Now you woke up and chose violence. Nah,
people
I got an Android.
Phobic, so
we having a great conversation till you got to go attack Android. Now interview over. I'm saying
triggered you.
Yeah, triggered me. You iPhone people. And so you start doing this content. And so what kind of feedback did you get from your brothers? Like where dudes that where they like, man, come on, man, what you doing talking about this stuff or this? Like your inner circle, how did they receive it?
My inner circle knows me. They know first off I'm kind of soft. Like I always like things that most people didn't like. Okay. I watch a little bit of sports, but not big on sports. I always love. Whenever we used to freestyle back in the day, I was always on love topics, all that kind of stuff. So
really?
Yeah. But outside of my inner circle, I got a lot of feedback. That really kind of got with the videos, the comments and all that kind of stuff. Oh man. But it's just like, bro, true is true. Like, again, like you just think yourself back in the worst of your decisions, whatever they may be. If your female cousin, auntie, mama, sister come and ask you a question about a dude, you're going to keep it straight with them.
100%.
You're not going to tell them, oh, he put his hands on you because you didn't have the food ready when he got home from work. You're going to say straight, like, nah, he put his hands on you, but he probably wouldn't talk out of line to a dude the same size as him.
100%.
Cowardly, right?
Yep.
So that was the...
Okay. Oh, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but I wanted to say something. Something that I found interesting that Derrick did say, at first he was talking about like Black Lives Matter, Trayvon Martin back in 2011, 2012. He said that he originally went viral for that. And then, it got too much for him. And so he kind of switched over to relationship. But originally he started, talking about, police brutality and stuff like that. And then he transitioned over to relationships. So I thought that was very interesting. A lot of times on social media, like we have one thing that we're trying to do, right? And then all of a sudden, a video that we're not even thinking is gonna even go viral goes viral, and then we're like, oh shit, now I gotta keep doing content like this. So it was interesting that he said that. I kind of skipped that part, but I wanted to mention that real quick.
Would be like, oh, well, you got to take this video down, especially about the black stuff, pro-black stuff. And I'm like, I'm not taking anything down.
Yep.
If I say I love even black women, if I say I love black women, I'm adoring black women, I'm sorry to those whites and non-blacks that get offended, but this is how I feel. So I stopped doing brand deals, and that's why I really learned business so I could be independent with my voice too.
That's real. And so then what initiated the move to Atlanta? You wanted to get closer to your mom, 4 hours drive, that y'all moved together in solidarity, that you say?
We planned it first. She had got a job down there. By this time, I was a full-time entrepreneur, but then we broke up right before we even went down there. We was some making up and breaking up fools. So we went down there separately. She went to stay where she was at in Dunwoody. I forget where I stayed, Dallas, Georgia, something like that. This was just another long single season. We had 3 main tries at relationship. One in college, one right after college in North Carolina, and then the one in Atlanta.
So it was doomed from the beginning. 3 different
season,
times.
How long? I know it's hard to look back at that time.
I guess they thought third time was a charm.
Single, and y'all still never just stopped dealing with each other ever,
No.
So we're not official together, but we still gonna be smashing, meeting up to smash. How long did that season last?
Maybe about a year. I would say this was in, I think it was like the second half of 2015. And then we didn't get together and operate as a couple until Marley was just about here. And that was in 2016.
Right, her inspiration.
So yeah, she went and did her thing. And from my understanding, not just single, like we smashed, but she was on dates with other guys. Nothing wrong with that. And of course, I was doing what I was doing.
So is this her comedy when she says, me and the girls, she said, I knew, I like having sex with them. We passing each other, men and women passing each other in the hallways. Is that comedy or for real?
I don't know why she said that. Because I told her a story about 2 girls passing each other. There's no way in heck I would have her, because I know her temper. You know what I'm saying? I never seen her fight, but I know her temper. She gonna make stuff uncomfortable. No way I would have her around any other woman that I was actually smashing. But there was a situation I told her. So maybe I think as she was talking like us, as everybody who's, sleeping with Derrick. But yeah, there were 2 girls that passed each other up on the staircase. Because I never lied. Like, this is what I'm on. I'm single now. I'm deep in my whole phase. And I'm going to win All-American honors in it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So if you can be
All-American honors in it. This fool is something else. So remember Danae had said they both had walked, she would walk past one girl as one girl was going out or she was coming in or whatever. He's saying he told her a story about that, but that had never happened to her. So he basically was saying she lying. A lot of deflection. Here's my thing. Do I think that she was probably, out doing her thing? Yeah, I think she was out doing her thing. I mean, we can't possibly think that she waited this whole time and he out there sleeping with a whole bunch of other women and stuff like that. However, everything that he needs to take accountability for, he's flipping and turning it on her. And that's what people are having a problem about. Oh, and hit that like button too, by the way.
10 toes down and be honest like that. I can't do nothing but respect that, because women say that that's what they desire. They like for a man to be straight up honest, so they'll know how to move accordingly. And so you're telling me that in that phase, you were straight up like, which she said that it was like that.
There's no perceived relationship. There's none of that. Now, there could have been more etiquette in how I did some of those things.
How? Tell me.
I thought that was kind of messed up for the girls I had passing each other. I really was in savage mode. And then I think 1 or 2 times then they would see like some condom wrappers or something like that. And I'm like, even though we're not together, she may be doing her thing. We know our history and we know the feelings that we got for each other. And especially whenever she got pregnant. You know, we conceived Marley New Year's Eve or what have you, and going into 2016.
But here's my question.
You know, we continue.
How is he having one girl come in, one girl come out and stuff like that at the same time? Because let me tell you, after I get my rocks off, I'll be tired, y'all. I'm ready for bed. I know TMI. Oh, but your kids should already be in bed. It's late, damn it. But, you know, after, you know, I'm done and, you know, I done, you know, exploded, you know, I'll be tired. I'll be like, whoo, shit, it's time for a nap. You know, so this man just got like a lot of energy and shit like that. You know, am I getting old? Is that what it is, y'all? Damn, I might be getting old. But yeah, after you know, that's it. So I would not literally have them come at one. Now, it might be like, you know, 1 in the morning and then at night. But like, you know, like just one after the other. And like, you don't need no rest. Like, you know, you just bang, 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 you know, next, bang, 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 next. Like, you know, you need like a break in between. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. But anyway, let's continue.
Continued engaging sexually, but she's pregnant now. And then I was still out here doing my thing with whoever, whenever I felt like it, because we were not together.
Right.
You know, and it was well understood.
Yo, hold on. Melody said taco sauce everywhere. You know, but even if you go multiple rounds, you still need a rest. You know what I mean? Like, you need like a little break in between. What? At 68? What? Wow. But I bet you his 68-year-old ass had to take a break in between. And not just have a oh my God. Oh man, y'all crack me up. That don't mean he was having them back to back. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Yeah, they could have just been passing each other. Okay, got you. All right, let's continue.
Good, but again, that's kind of whenever she found out through the videos and stuff like that. Now, how she told me she found out, I'm not sure exactly if this is it, but she went and got a new phone. It was logged into my Google Cloud because we had been logged into each other's email, and that allowed her to see everything. And I'm like, again, I'm kind of freaky. So I was recording a lot of stuff. Yeah, I was just recording a lot of stuff. I like to see it or whatever. I like that better than porn, you know, to TMI. But
you said you like to see yourself.
I like to see myself. I'm inspired by me in that regard. So she saw all of that. And regardless of how she found it, man, I just was like, it's like, what the F am I thinking? She's pregnant and she had to see that. Single or not, she's pregnant and she had to see that.
Let me ask you this, because this is something that she said on the podcast or before, whatever. She's been pregnant by you multiple times and didn't conceive, right?
Yeah. Which didn't carry.
Right, it didn't carry. And so when you had Marley, that's the first child?
That was the first time we actually had. We had gotten pregnant prior to that in North Carolina, but she miscarried. And then before that were abortions.
Definitely. You had my condolences, totally. And so what made you decide, or y'all decide to give birth to Marley?
Well, earlier in our years, we were just kids and we felt like we're being irresponsible if we bring them in, you know, really thinking of ourselves at that time, not thinking about, you know, the God factor or anything like that. So by the time we got to North Carolina, it did take a toll on her, even those experiences.
Let me pause right here because I want to address Barbie's comment. Barbie, believe it or not, how he can get away with this, not too much YouTube. People on YouTube kind of know who he is. But remember I was telling you guys about how it's hard to get people to follow Veronica. I thought I was the only one that was going to laugh at that part, and I was trying so hard not to laugh, but I'm glad you said so. When he said, oh yeah, my condolences, I was like, well, she kind of went to the chop shop. Never mind. Anyway, so on YouTube, we know who he is. Instagram knows who he is as well too. However, a platform like TikTok, he's able to reinvent himself. People might not know all about Derrick Jaxn on TikTok. For example, when I'm on Instagram, most of you guys follow me, but not all of you. Well, no, I shouldn't say most of you because I would have 30,000 over there. But, a handful of you follow me over there, but I can pretend to be like a completely different person, over on Instagram compared to when I'm on YouTube. And so he's able to pretend to be somebody different in each social media platform. That's kind of how it works. So I think that's why women still follow him, because if you're not a YouTuber, only we on YouTube, it's like a small minority. Well, I shouldn't say small minority, it's the biggest platform. But usually people are looking up how to do things, how to do stuff. Like, people ain't watching like Derrick Jaxn cheating on his wife. They're not watching that. That's not like a hot topic. It's hot for us, but in the large scheme of things, it's not hot for us,
And for me, my whole stance was, even though we created this together, it's your body that has to carry it. So whatever you want, I'm on. And in North Carolina, we wanted it, but she miscarried. So when Marley came about, it was like, oh, it's game time if we can actually carry. It really wasn't even much of a discussion. The moment we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but the moment she let me know, I told her, you ain't got to do this alone. Like, I hope you know I'm all in. And I was every doctor's visit. I didn't miss one. I told her she ain't had to work and I was going to take on every bill.
We weren't together, but I told her she ain't got to do this alone. We ain't got to do this alone. So basically that baby was the catalyst of them finally being official and, being boyfriend and girlfriend. And they didn't get married, I believe, until the second baby, actually. So knowing that, this wasn't like out of love. It was kind of like, well, I don't want my child to be, it's already out of wedlock, but I don't want my child not to have the father in their life because of his past experience. So he was like, well, shit, we gonna be together. I'm gonna rock with it. That was the basis of their relationship. It wasn't love, really, when you think about it. It wasn't. It was all like, oh, well, you knocked out. All right, well, we're going to be together. I mean, there's a lot of situations like that where it's all like, oh, you got knocked up. Okay, well, we're going to try this relationship shit. He basically just admitted it right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here because we still got part 2 tomorrow. So we're going to have a lot more Derrick Jaxn. But, that happens a lot. Stay together for the baby. Exactly. Just bought a Cadillac, took it to the chop shop, and got the damn top drawer. I hate you. Miss ATLE said, I barely know any of these people unless I heard it from AT2. Oh, thank you. My daughter always talk about TikTokers. I don't know them until AT2 tell us to know them. See, exactly. See, that's how it is. I try to bridge that gap because there's a lot that is shit that be happening on whatchamacallit on TikTok, and like I'm all like, why nobody like actually takes the shit from TikTok and bring it over here? There's a lot of interesting stuff, and I'm gonna start bringing you guys more of that content as well too. And a different interview, yes, his name is Latrice. That was a different guy, and he's doing the part 2 tomorrow. So remember, Danae had the original interview with him. Well, this is basically like the rebuttal. So hopefully we find out what happens. He asks more questions about like the cheating and stuff like that, because he's all like, yeah, I only cheated when, we were on a break, or it's no accountability has been taken, none. Another old head like Miss shout out to my old heads. But anyway, y'all, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if this is your first time here. If it's your last time here, well, I still got the AdSense, so it worked. Shout out to Stephanie for the super chats. I appreciate that. Shout out to all my members. Shout out to my moderator. Actually, Stephanie was only moderator. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here. Also, shout out to everybody who has cashed at me and PayPal or Venmo me. I appreciate y'all. And yes, I do have Zelle now. Just contact me privately and I'll tell you what it is and stuff like that. But anyway, I love y'all. I think we'll be back later on tonight just to shoot the shit. I also want to do a members live too. So we'll be back, y'all. Deuces. We out.